turn it up by accident. Okay, is that better?
It's good.
Good, okay. Jeez, down there and okay.
All right, at 7 o'clock, I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Commissioners, Town of Reddington Shores regular meeting. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 2015 at 7 p.m. Mary, please call the roll. Pledge allegiance.
I know we all stood up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Here.
Commissioner Capper?
Here.
Commissioner Branch?
Here.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Here.
Attorney Rubenstein?
Here.
First order is approval of the minutes for the regular meeting, May the 13th, 2015, the workshop meeting, May 27th, 2015.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes for the regular meeting, May 13th, 2015, and the workshop meeting, May 27th, 2015, as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, ratification of the bills for May and June 2015.
Make a motion that we ratify the bills for May and June 2015 as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Next, commission reports. The only thing I have to really report on right now is that I noticed a lot of you have probably seen the grass out front and how green it is and doesn't need to be mowed.
Because of all the rain.
And there's still, it's still being worked on, and but as far as the maintenance is concerned, it still has to be trimmed to a bit, and some of the wrinkles taken out where it comes down over the hill. And for any of you that might be, and I know one in here, Florida State fans, that came from Florida State's football field. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know that. Anyway, the town has signed a memo of understanding with Pinellas County Suncoast for our emergency management far as the secondary EOC. And that will be located at St. Jerome's Baptist or Methodist Church up on Hamilton Avenue. Okay, Boulevard.
Hamlin Boulevard.
Cameron.
Catholic Church, not Baptist.
Well, I did say Catholic. Catholic Church on Hamlin Boulevard. If it's more than a Cat 3 storm, we would then move to the Indian Rocks Baptist Church on Walsenham. We're teaming there with Bel Air Beach, Indian Rocks Beach, Indian Shores, and ourselves. And also Suncoast will be there in the EOC, and the Indian Shores Police Department, of course. And that was the main reason that we went there, to stay where our police department is. Other than that, that's the only thing I have. And Vice Mayor Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fire department services for last month, there was one non-emergency fire response for the time period with a response time of 12 minutes and 28 seconds. There were 7 emergency fire responses for the time period with an average response time of 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Under emergency medical services, there were 14 non-emergency EMS calls for the period, with an average response time of 6 minutes and 21 seconds. There were 17 emergency EMS responses for the time period, with an average response time of 6 minutes and 43 seconds. The services being provided by our fire support, Seminole and Fire and Rescue and the EMS partners continue to be excellent, and they meet the required times of the goal that is set for the response times for EMS and for fire. On emergency management, just to continue with the mayor's been talking about, on emergency management, yesterday Joseph Walker of our building department, myself, attended a course, one-day course up at the Pinellas County Emergency Operations Center, which is getting to be a very active facility when they've got the new Emergency Operations Center manned and up just about anytime they want to, and they're activating it a lot. They're doing exercises with the communities, the other 24 municipalities, and Mary's been involved in it, I think, and I don't know, maybe Commissioner Henderson, I'm not sure. And they plan, they plan that the storms here and so forth, and they're going around getting everybody on the net. And the class that we went to yesterday was a preliminary damage assessment, PDA, which is very, very important to us, all the communities and all of us. And when it comes to the storm hitting and after it has departed, and we're looking at the damage and picking up the pieces from a standpoint of cost and being able to report it and write down the right things and pass it up the line to FEMA in order to recover the money that you're spending to correct the problems that are in existence. And you can get upwards of 75% reimbursement in most areas, and the part that we hit hard yesterday was for individual assistance under the Stafford Act, and then the afternoon they covered public assistance. But anyway, it was interesting, it was very informative, and we brought back some good things that will be available for the rest of us to look at and have on hand during the time when it hits, not if. So, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Holmes. Mr. Kepler?
Speaking of grass, number one, and I think the grass looks great out here, the artificial grass. But in our medium strips, we're having some problems out there with the grass we've had with the irrigation. We are working on that, and hopefully in the next month or so it'll start brightening up. The other thing we're doing, kind of giving you a little report on what's going on for the summer. Spitzer Park, we've got a couple bad, or I shouldn't say bad trees, they're trees, but we were told by a arborist, that these trees are very soft, and in the storm and stuff, and they could fall. And it sits right there in our park, if you got little kids or even anybody, in the street. So we are in the process of obtaining bids on taking those down and also trimming up a few other trees within the town. And in July, I believe we start our trimming all of our palm trees in town. Okay, and also permits for the month of May. We had 77 permits, 3 new single-family homes. Total permit fees were $96,058.72. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Capper. Commissioner Branch?
Okay, and police report, traffic citations for Indian Shores. Last year they had 16, and this year it was minus 20. They had 36 and then 16 this year, so that makes a drop of 20 in there. Ours, we had 18 last year, 13 this year, a drop of 5. Parking tickets, they had 37 last year, 31 this year, a drop of 6. We had 51 last year, 22 this year, for this month was a drop of 29. There's other calls. This is the one that keeps going up, that kind of keeps our police department really rolling, I think, is calls to help others. They had 476 last year, 401 this year, a drop of 75. We had 338 last year, 420 so far this year and this month, this month, and that's a plus of 82. So either there's a bunch of us getting older and needing help, or something's going on. That number is really crawling up. And there's one thing that I'd like to really point out on the police report. So much of this is things that, and it's sometimes hard to talk to you people because you people are the ones that are here all the time and know better. But it's these people that don't listen. And what I'm talking about, most of this stuff could be prevented, like the theft of a cell phone. You know, why is your cell phone stuck around for somebody to steal it? I mean, I guess it could, somebody, if they're a professional, but I think I'd go into a different business. And that vehicular burglary, that one definitely has got to be the people there, unless they've got a tow truck or something of that nature. The only one that I think that might have something to do with it is credit card fraud. I don't know unless somebody just took your number. If you go to a restaurant, this is the thing that really worries me. You go to a restaurant, you give the sweet young thing your credit card, and off she goes, and she comes back. Well, I had a friend that I was with one night, and when we got back to Tampa, he had about $1,000 worth of stuff on there he had never bought because she just copied his number down and got it. So the main thing is to watch out for yourself and everything. We have some sewer work that is going to be, or hopes going to be going on, and I'll get with that later on meeting. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Branch. Commissioner Henderson?
First of all, I'd like to thank our Vice Mayor Lee Holmes for putting together another very informative and entertaining hurricane awareness meeting. We had a huge turnout with over 60 people in attendance, which was great. And if you missed it, we still have the information on the table outside in the hall. I met with Bob Lyons and the landscape architect working on the parks in front of La Vistana, and we have just a couple more selections, and then everything will be finalized, and we're going to get moving on that. We are also in the process of getting bids to resurface the well-used and loved shuffleboard court at Constitution Park, and I am going to be meeting with the Parks and Recs Committee to figure out the equipment and/or shade system we'll be purchasing in the very near future. The Gulf Beaches Library is gearing up for a busy summer. They have summer reading programs for all ages. The adult reading program begins June 15th, and beginning June 26th, they have every week they'll be giving away Barnes & Noble gift certificates on Fridays for 5 weeks, and at the end with a grand prize, there'll be a drawing for a Kindle e-reader on July 31st. And you can always go to the library on Wednesdays. They have a summer film series, and you can enjoy free popcorn and refreshments. And they also have lots and stuff to do for school-age children, reading program, art programs, and so much more to keep your children busy. So, thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Next was the presentation by Whit Blanton of the PPC MPO, and maybe he didn't make it because of the weather. I don't know, but I don't see him here. So we'll skip right on over that one and go to the first new business is the credit card usage at Town Hall. We've had a workshop on that, and we go to a vote. I'll need a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion that we accept the credit card machines and try them out at Town Hall.
Got a motion in a second?
I'll second.
Motion in a second, any discussion?
Yeah, and if I recall, when they presented this thing to us, it was going to cost us like $1,200, I believe, to put it in, that would cost the city the $1,200. That doesn't bother me as much as you walk in here to get a building permit or whatever, you're gonna add on another 3% onto that building permit, and it doesn't make sense to me, you know. We're making it easy for somebody, but we're charging them more money. And, you know, a lot of the building permits are taken by our people that live in this town. And we've done fine without it all these years, and I'm just totally against it because of that. It's just gonna cost more money for our people in town, or even people out of town, to come in and get a permit if they're using a credit card.
But it's their choice.
Well, I realize that too, yeah.
I mean, you're giving them an option. If
Right.
they want to use that, then
Right.
good for them. But it's a plastic world we live in now.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Going back to the workshop that Mr. Cabot just alluded to, at the workshop, they put on quite a complete presentation and explained all the numbers and everything else. And during that workshop, I just suggested that I had not seen it demonstrated that the town has a need for it. And I just don't think it has been demonstrated that we have a need for it. And I don't know why that we needed to bring us into the, quote, 21st century. According to this thing in here, we've done pretty good since back in 1935 or whatever the number was in here. On this thing here, it says, since 1955, excuse me. So we've survived, okay, since then. But if there's a need for it sometime down the road, I'd be the first one to suggest that we open it up and have it available for the people, the residents of the community. But it doesn't appear to be a need for one now. And I would not be in favor of
Anyone else?
I'm not in favor.
that. Well,
Any discussion on it, John?
I see so many towns that don't have it, and I feel the same way. Everything is working all right. I don't see any problems with what we have. Adding 3% on to the individual when they get some of these large permits isn't an awful lot of money, but I mean, you know, here's a guy gonna come in here and spend $1,000 or so on a permit, and then you're gonna hit him another 3% for his using his credit card. I'm just not for it. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned.
We hadn't called for the vote, no, we will. The only thing I have to say is everybody talking about building permits, but there's a lot of people come in here to rent the town hall. Or in the park and things like that. That makes it a convenient for them. But anyway, any other discussion? Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
No.
Commissioner Branch?
No.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
no,
Mayor Adams?
Yes. All right. The next order of business is approval to refurbish the sewer manholes. Commissioner Branch.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to be asking to approve a $25,000, which you have, all the commission has a copy of this contract. It will be piggybacked on, so we don't have to go out for the bid. This will be piggybacked with the company that's doing Hillsborough County, that is always approved, that's also approved and everything. And what we're doing in refurbishing manholes, so that you don't understand, we're on a gravity feed type of system. And as the fluids run downhill, they go into a manhole, and it comes out of this manhole and hits a level in there, which is a shelf we call, and over over the period of years, this wears out. So then it stays in this manhole till it fills up to the next level, and then it goes down to the next one and tears that one up also. So these haven't been repaired in years, so they need to be actually taken care of. And we have had this in the budget and so forth. I just need approval to go ahead. The only thing, if you'll notice in here, is that they are not taking care of any of Uncle Bob's signs that he puts out on the side of the road there that we have to block the lanes. They call for lane blockage, and we're actually just going to use cones and do it that way. But with the permit and all has already been submitted for with DOT, and we're just waiting on the go. And there'll be 10 manholes is what we will be working on. Do we have any questions that I might be able to?
Did we get other proposals?
Is it 9 or is it 10?
Oh, it's a piggyback, I believe.
Okay.
Piggyback?
Okay,
Okay, did you explain it?
I got it.
Okay.
It's on the,
9 or 10?
it's a contract with a, or it worked at a contractor that's already been approved by the state of Florida, and as to being honest and trustworthy and so on and so forth. And we can piggyback on that same company based on that prior approval by the state, and do not have to go out and seek other bids. That's as I understand it.
That's correct.
That is correct, and also, this man has done, or this company has done work for us for years, and let me tell you, it makes a lot of difference when somebody's already worked in a town. They can eliminate almost a day to 2 days' work by not having to look for something and see what's going on. This man has always been very good, his work has been very good, and we always keep a person with him in case has to block off the lines coming in. Naturally, they can't work down as the lines are feeding in, or they'd be buried, you know. So anyway, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
So, are you making a motion?
I will make a motion that we go for the 25,000 plus an unknown figure that we don't know, but we figure it'll be several thousand for maybe the permit for the road closure and so forth. Not the closure, but the MOT of the setting up of the cones and that type of thing. And I'm making a motion that asking you to approve it.
And prove how much money?
I would say 30,000. That would more than cover any surplus we go back into the fund, if there is surplus of it.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Commissioner, Vice Mayor Holmes?
You said 10, I think,
Right.
and then here it says 9, reconstruction of 9. So unless I'm missing something somewhere.
Okay, well, what we have, we've got one that we don't know whether it's going to be in the manhole on Gulf Boulevard. We have a manhole around the corner here that needs work, but not completely. So if they're in here and they have, you can't, it's just like with concrete or plaster, you might have a little left there, and you could go ahead and use that and finish up and do another manhole or something with it.
So what this is for 9 though?
This will be for 9, definitely for 9.
Okay.
And it's kind of it's almost a pig in a poke on the MOT permitting cost, and or do we have I know you said that you think 30,000 would be sure and cover it enough. Do we have experience with I'm not familiar with what the permitting costs are on something like that.
Well,
FDOT, I have no idea what the charges might be. We've not been through this before, Joe.
yes, we've gone through it before, and I would say that in the neighborhood of probably 2,000. Mary, do you have any old? I would just say maybe in the neighborhood of 2,000, being we possibly have maybe enough cones because the manholes, some of them are close enough apart. When we block the lane, we can do 2 at one shot.
And it's our responsibility, town's responsibility for the MOT, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's ours.
And that's maintenance of traffic.
Correct.
I got a question.
Yes.
And I know this is something in the future that we may be thinking about, is that if this was not our sewer, would we have this expense?
No.
Thank you.
Can I amend it?
Yes.
I'd like to amend Commissioner Branch's motion to approve a sum of $30,000, not to exceed $30,000 for this job on the sewer.
Okay, motion not to exceed 30,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is a proclamation for July the 26th to be Americans with Disability Act Awareness Day. With that, do we have any public comments? I have one. Go Bolts. And with that, the next workshop meeting is Wednesday, June 24th, 2015 at 7 p.m. The regular meeting is Wednesday, July the 8th, 2015 at 7 p.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned. No. Wasn't through. No.